Hey there, today I'll be highlighting 15 major points of the history of the world, spanning from the beginning of writing to the crowning of my main man, Charles the Fat. The beginning of written human history starts with the Sumerians, located in the Fertile Crescent between the Euphrates and Tigris River. The civilization was home to the first written language, cuneiform, which is pretty sick looking. Too bad people don't remember it like the pyramids. Speaking of the Egyptians, our first knowledge of early religions began with them. Their gods, Ra, Anubis, and Horus, among others, were the first furries of the world. Under pharaohs Khufu and Khafre, the main pyramids at Giza were built. Other notable pharaohs are Hatshepsut, a major female pharaoh who established her power after her husband's death, and her son Thutmose III, who conquered most of Palestine and was obsessed with bronze. Too bad he didn't get his hand on iron, or else he would have had a field day. Despite iron's natural abundance, its high melting point kept it inaccessible from civilizations up until the 2nd century BC, which led to the use of the copper-tin alloy, bronze, in weapons. Ancient civilizations up until the Romans used bronze, so that makes it the longest period of written history. So hopping across the heckin' ocean, we get to the Americas, which was home to civilizations such as the Mayans, who caused some white people to claim the rapture would happen in 2012, and the Olmecs, who made some nice head things. They also cultivated some tasty foods like potatoes and tomatoes. Since potatoes and tomatoes are like the fat man's yin and yang, let's talk about the East. Early Eastern philosophy and religion was primarily pushed on by India and China, which both had multiple religions and ways of thinking spawned from their people. India's first main religion was Jainism, whose followers believed in non-violence. Following this, Buddhism started to gain traction after Siddhartha Gautama set the precedent for obtaining nirvana. This was followed by Hinduism, which took over, becoming India's dominant religion around the end of the Vedic period in 500 BC. It has also been called the oldest religion in the world, and whoever said that was completely misinformed. Euro. Why not keep following the Asian rabbit hole? Chinese philosophy was mostly based on the works of Confucius and Lao Tzu, who started the fields of Confucianism and Taoism, respectively. Confucianism focused on respect and social relations, potentially because Confucius was upset about people insulting his wispy beard, while Taoism's key idea was that of yin and yang. On top of these main two, there is also Sun Tzu, the author of The Art of War, and Shang Yang, a key reformer of legalism. While early Chinese philosophy focused on respect between people, the Greek philosophers were questioning the world around them. Also around this time, Judaism was gaining ground in the world's religious scene. When talking about philosophers, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle are usually the ones that come to mind, but many others, such as Pythagoras, who mainly contributed to the field of mathematics due to his pre-Socratic status, were also very important. Along with their contributions to philosophy, the ancient Greeks also provided many advancements in politics and science, despite many truly genius thoughts being overshadowed by wrong ones. I'm looking at you, Aristotle. Stay in your lane. Chemistry isn't your thing. Speaking of people who don't know shit about what they're doing, another major contribution to modern society made by the Greeks was their refinement of democracy. While many forms of democracies dated back to Mesopotamia, people such as Cleisthenes and Pericles refined it to nearly how it is today. Not like that's very good, though.
Oh my god, it's really Diogenes. I'm your biggest fan.
And who might you be?
I'm Alexander, King of Macedonia. If there's anything I can do for you, just ask.
Yeah, you can. Get out of my sun.
You know what? Not even mad. He really is a legend.
Oh yeah, that guy was kind of important. Took over some stuff, but moving on. The start of the Roman Republic dates back to 509 BC when Tarquin, the king at the time, was exiled. This led to around 500 years of revision of thought as Rome slowly became a republic and took over more territory. This system continued until Julius Caesar decided he wanted to become an emperor and... His grandnephew, Augustus, would later reach the goal that he sought out before, getting stabbed. And then was this guy named, what was it? Oh, right, it's...
Me, Jesus. Y'all know what I've done. Starter of Christianity, causer of plenty of religious wars, opposer of gay rights, yada yada. Also, crucifixion? Whack. Now let's get to some wild stuff. AD, Galba takes on the role of emperor. But as soon as the new year starts, things go downhill for old Galba. Day 1 of the year, his troops overthrow him and kill him in a mere 14 days when Otho takes the crown. He lasts 3 months before committing suicide as Vitellius takes the throne. This guy lasts a bit longer, managing to escape death until killed on the Gemonian stairs in December, allowing Vespasian to become emperor, where he caps off the year by ordering a siege on Jerusalem. Alright, and then there was Prophet Muhammad. Gotta commend the guy. Really brought up my book up to the next level. Disputes on when Islam began have many different starting points, such as Islam beginning with Muhammad himself, or with other prophets such as, well, me, which I'll leave up to interpretation.
Number 15, Crowning of King Charles the Fat. Due to the really random and arbitrary date which we decided to end on, I chose to talk about the most random event from that year. Charles the Real Third, not to be confused with the person given the name Charles III who came after him and clearly couldn't count, which is why I think he was called Charles the Simple, was crowned King of Italy after his brother Carloman of Bavaria was incapacitated by a stroke. Surprised it wasn't Charles instead. His only real achievement is being a great-grandson of Charlemagne, since all he did was pussy out and pay the Vikings. We have no idea what he actually looked like since the nickname of Charles the Fat didn't come into being until many centuries later, but I'm pretty confident that he was this dummy thick. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.